Haribol. Jai Sapadikashi Shigu Gora Chandraju Ki Jai. Jai Shigiraj Govardhanju Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pari Brajakacharya Astotera Sri Shiman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Pari Brajakacharya Astotera Sri Shiman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Dardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai. Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission morning class. Haribol Dandavat. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Hey Prabhu?
Water?
No, I haven't, but on the outside of my purse I have those Kleenexes. Sorry. So this morning, before we read Chaitanya Charitamrita, I thought we would just speak a little bit about Srila Gaura Babaji Maharaj, who has asked for one friend of our temple has asked for us to say something about Gaura Babaji Maharaj and the disappearance day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. We didn't mention so much his relationship with Srila Gaura Babaji. So I thought I would just speak a little bit, just for a few minutes, about him. He was, of course, he was a friend of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he was very, very dear to, they were very intimately dear to one another. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, of course, is the father of Srila Saraswati Thakur. And Srila Gaura Babaji Maharaj was absorbed in his bhajan. He was living very much in a secluded way. And he used to live where people, you see, in those days there was no indoor plumbing or anything in India, and people used to go do their bathroom business in the fields. But he would live in those fields. He lived in one of those fields because or nearby perhaps, because he didn't want people to come and ask him questions and disturb him in terms of some kind of ordinary business. He did have some assistants who were living there, but he wasn't going out. Very much absorbed in divine bhajan, which we're not supposed to imitate actually, but was his divine position. So Srila Saraswati Thakur was instructed by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you go and take initiation from him. But Srila Saraswati Thakur approached him, and Gaura Babaji Maharaj said, no. I know who you are. You are this erudite boy, very high scholarly boy, and I can neither read nor write. Gaura Babaji Maharaj could not write or read. Can you hear that?
Right.
And Srila Saraswati Thakur was very famous for his scholarliness. And he said, what can I teach you? Go home. No, this is not a good idea. And then Saraswati Thakur went to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, said, he won't accept me. No, you must go back. And finally, he went back to Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj. No, please, I must have your connection. He said, all right, well, I'll ask Mahaprabhu what I should do with you. And then when Srila Saraswati Thakur returned, Guru Maharaj is telling this story, Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj said, oh, right, I forgot to ask. You come back later. And then he came back and he was like, I must have your connection. It's not optional for me in my life. And with some great urgency. And Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj finally accepted him as his disciple. And later on, when Saraswati Thakur was going to go and preach, he was very, very renounced, actually, Saraswati Thakur. He didn't like to go to school. He didn't have so much formal education in that sense, although he was supremely a genius in all the conclusions of all the scriptures. And he could write in a very incredibly scholarly way. But he didn't really get involved so much. He didn't really want to do anything or be involved in the world. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, no, you must do something. Otherwise you're going to be niyati, not this, everything is nothing. And you'll become a Mayavadi. So you have to do something. So he began his preaching work, and he wanted to go to Calcutta. And they were, of course, living in Godruma, in Mayapur, and just in inconceivably wonderful, divine place. And so Srila Saraswati Thakur went to Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj and said, I wish to go and preach the message of Mahaprabhu in Calcutta. Oh, no, don't go to Calcutta. That is the place of Kali. That is where Kali is living. You don't go there, this is a bad place. And Srila Saraswati Thakur said, oh, my master, with your power behind me, nothing of Kali can touch me. I'm fully surrendered to your holy lotus feet, and you are behind me, your divine power of devotion is behind me. I have no fear of Kali. So, with the blessings of Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj, he began his preaching work. And one famous story about Srila Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj, he's living out in the fields. Nearby, it's not like a beautiful place. Pleasant, so pleasant. But one professional reciter of the Bhagavatam, means he did it for a living. He wanted to recite the Bhagavatam, and he requested Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj to be one of the persons who will listen. And Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj was not interested in hearing the Bhagavatam from him. So just professional, no devotion, no surrender, nothing, that's what he was doing for a living. But that man, in spite of Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj's not being interested, he set up his Bhagavat recitation right next to where Babaji Maharaj would sit, and as though Babaji Maharaj were listening. And he gathered all these people, became very interested, because Gaura Das Babaji Maharaj was widely respected as a true renunciate and a true devotee of Mahaprabhu. But this man made it look like Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj was listening to his Bhagavatam recital. And this went on and on. And then at the end, everything was gone. All the people went home. Maybe this goes on for 7 days. Bhagavat Sapta or something like that. And after they were all gone, Babaji Maharaj told his assistant, please clean this place. Put cow dung around it and clean it. Purify this place. And the assistant was very shocked. He said, but Prabhu, this is not, this is where the Bhagavatam was recited. Why will it be impure? And Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj said, oh, you heard Bhagavatam? All I heard was money, money, money. That's all that was coming from his mouth. So that was done. So, and many wonderful things are to be understood from Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj's divine life. We cannot imitate him in any kind of way, but he is, Namo Gorkishoraya Bhakt Avaduta Murtaye Gorangri Padma Bringaya. Namo Gorkishoraya Bhakt Avaduta Murtaye Shri. Oh, wait, I for some reason my brain's not working. Can you give me the song? Namo Gorkishoraya Bhaktavaduta Murtaye Gorangri Padma Bringaya Radha Bhavani Sevine. Okay, so he's absorbed in the service of Radha and Krishna. He's like a bee at the feet. Read the translation.
I bow to our Guru, Srila Gaura Kishora Das, the pure devotee beyond social class, the bee in the lotus of the feet of Sri Gauranga, who deep in his heart serves Sri Radha forever.
Yes. And we also know his spiritual name. We've been told that. But anyway, so this is just a very small little piece of tiny dust, perhaps, hope if we can say that, of the great ocean of the qualities of Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj, maybe one little piece of drop of that. We hope we could say that. And he is our great. One day I was here in the temple. This is a very subjective thing, but I was here in the temple. And I was having some difficulty. Some difficulty was there with me. And I was feeling a little bit helpless with that. And suddenly I was looking at Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj picture on the altar and asking, please give me some help. And suddenly I felt that he was just an immovable pillar of protection. They are immovable. That is why they're called Guru. Guru means heavy, not movable. The Himalaya might be movable, but they are not movable. They can give so much protection, we cannot even conceive of it. So, Jaya, Srila Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. And it's important to note that ostensibly he was illiterate. That was his divine pastime. And his disciple Srila Saraswati Thakur was an international scholar. I mean, really, very famous. But it doesn't have anything to do with his spiritual position at all. Like, that's just his divine play, whatever the Lord wants, however the Lord wants them to move, they will move in that happiness. All right, Jai Srila Gorkishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. And so on. Our Parampara Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Jai Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, the glories of Lord Nityananda Balaram. This is the Adi Lila, 5th chapter. And we're reading now text number 203. Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda
Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktivinoda.
Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Ki Jaya. Srila Om Vishnu Padesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jaya. Haribo Sanatana Kripaya Painu Bhakti Rasidanta Shri Rupa Kripaya Painu Bhakti Rasa Pranta. By the mercy of Sanatana Goswami, I have learned the final conclusions of devotional service, and by the grace of Sri Rupa Goswami, I have tasted the highest nectar of devotional service. So that is Sambandha Gyan and Abhidaya Gyan. Sri Sanatana Goswami Prabhu, the teacher of the science of devotional service, wrote several books, of which one will be mentioned? No, the books. Our Brihad Bhagavatamrita is very famous. Anyone who wants to know about the subject matter of devotees, devotional service, and Krishna must read this book. Sanatana Goswami also wrote a special commentary on the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is known as Dashama Tippani, which is so excellent that by reading it one can understand very deeply the pastimes of Krishna in his exchanges of loving activities. Another famous book by Sanatana Goswami is the Hari Bhakti Vilas, which states the rules and regulations for all divisions of Vaishnavas, namely Vaishnava householders, Vaishnava brahmacharis, Vaishnava vanaprasthas, and Vaishnava sannyasis. This book was especially written, however, for Vaishnava householders. So this is the Hari Bhakti Vilas. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami has described Sanatana Goswami in his prayer, Vilapa Kushumanjali, verse 6, where he has expressed his obligation to Sanatana Goswami in the following words. So this is Raghunath Das Goswami. Vairagya yug bhakti rasam prayatnaya apayayam mam anabipsum andam kripam buddhirya paraduka dukhi sanatanastang prabhum ashrayami. I was unwilling to drink the nectar of devotional service possessed of renunciation, but Sanatana Goswami, out of his causeless mercy, made me drink it, even though I was otherwise unable to do so. Therefore, he is an ocean of mercy. He is very compassionate to fallen souls like me, and thus it is my duty to offer my respectful obeisances unto his lotus feet. And that is this was a glorification, a loving glorification of Srila Sanatana Goswami by Srila Raghunath Das Goswami. Now Krishna Das Kaviraj also, in the last section of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, specifically mentions the name of Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, and Jiva Goswami, and offers his respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of these three spiritual masters, as well as Raghunath Das. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami also accepted Sanatana Goswami as the teacher of the science of devotional service. His famous book, Bhakti Rasamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami is described as the Bhakti Rasacharya, or one who knows the essence of devotional service. His famous book, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, or the Nectar of Devotion, is the science of devotional service. And by reading this book, one can understand the meaning of devotional service. Another of his famous books is the Ujjvala Nilamani. In this book, he elaborately explains the loving affairs and transcendental activities of Lord Krishna and Radharani. Jaya Jaya Nityananda Charanaravinda Jahaite Painu Shri Radha Govinda. All glory to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, by whose mercy I have attained Shri Radha Govinda. Srila Narottam Das Thakur, who is famous for his poetic composition known as Prarthana, has lamented in one of his prayers, "When will Lord Nityananda be merciful upon me, so that I will forget all material desires?" Now there's a good prayer. Very beautiful prayer. All glories to the lotus feet of Lord Nityananda, by whose mercy I have attained Shri Radha Govinda. Of course, we know this song, we're singing it quite often. Srila Narottam Das Thakur confirms that unless one is freed from material desires to satisfy the needs of the body and senses, one cannot understand the transcendental abode of Lord Krishna, Vrindavan. He also confirms that one cannot understand the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna without going through the direction of the 6 Goswamis. In another verse, Narottam Das Thakur has stated that without the causeless mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, one cannot enter into the loving affairs of Radha and Krishna. So this is the verse. This chapter is, of course, singing the glories of Lord Nityananda. So the mercy of Lord Nityananda and our prayerfulness in approaching the holy lotus feet of that great, merciful Lord is not optional for us. And why would we want it to be? Everything that is good in devotional life is so nice, so sweet. There's not, once we have some kind of little bit of taste for that, then we wouldn't even dream of not wanting to always and constantly approach these great personalities. Jagai Madai Haite Muni Se Papista Puri Se Rakita Haite Muni Se Laghista. I am more sinful than Jagai and Madai, and even lower than the worms in stool. This is what he's sincerely saying. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying that. Moranama Shune Jai Tara Punyakshaya Moranamalaya Jai Tara Papahaya. Anyone who hears my name loses the results of his pious activities. Anyone who utters my name becomes sinful. Amananya Grinna More Keba Kripakare Akanityananda Binu Jagata Bitare. Who in this world but Nityananda could show his mercy to such an abominable person as me? So we remember from yesterday how Nityananda Prabhu appeared to Krishnadas Kaviraj and instructed him to go to Vrindavan, and there he became a very shining part of that wonderful Sangha, which at that time was there in Vrindavan, the 6 Goswamis. So many great personalities were there, and he joined with them. And he's thinking, oh, I'm so terrible, so low. And yet, so he's praising that divine mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. And very sincerely. We are not going to say that about Krishnadas Kaviraj. But that is the nature of those great souls. Preme Mata Nityananda Kripa Avatar Uttama Adama Kichuna Kare Vichar. Because he's intoxicated by ecstatic love and is an incarnation of mercy, he does not distinguish between the good and the bad. We should remember this. When we're becoming discouraged with our spiritual life, we should remember the Lord is so merciful. He's not trying to push us away. Jayage padaye tare karaye nishtara ataeva nishtarila mohe hena durachara. He delivers all those who fall down before him. Therefore he has delivered such a sinful and fallen person as me. Mo papiste anilena Shri Vrindavana mohena adame dila Shri Rupacharana. Although I am sinful and I am the most fallen, he has conferred upon me the lotus feet of Shri Rupa Goswami. Shri Madana Gopal, Shri Govinda Darshana, Kahibara Yogya Nahi Shabakatana. I am not fit to speak all these confidential words about my visiting Lord Madan Gopal and Lord Govinda. Vrindavana Purandara Shri Madan Gopala Rasa Vilasi Saksha Brajendra Kumara. Lord Madan Gopal, the chief deity of Vrindavan, is the enjoyer of the rasa dance and is directly the son of the king of Braja. Lord Madan Gopal is the chief deity of Vrindavan, and he is the enjoyer of the rasa dance and is directly the son of the king of Braja. Shri Radha Lalita Shange Rasa Bilasa Mamata Rupe Jahara Prakasha. He enjoys the rasa dance with Srimati Radharani, Sri Lalita, and others. He manifests himself as the Cupid of Cupids. So we're singing that Sri Radha Madan Mohan prayer every day. Tasam Avira Bhuchauri Shamana Mukambuja Shayamana Mukambuja Pitambara Daras Sragvi Sakshan Manmata Manmatha. Wearing yellow garments and decorated with a flower garland, Lord Krishna, appearing among the gopis with his smiling lotus face, looked directly like the charmer of the heart of Cupid. So this Cupid, which is like, he has a big whip, or he has an arrow, and he's harassing us with this in the mundane world. But Cupid is fainting. Millions of Cupids are fainting before the sweetness and beauty of Krishna. So we try to remember this. Any questions so far? Svamadurya loke ramana kare akarshana duipashe radha lalita karena sevana. With Radha and Lalita serving him on his two sides, he attracts the hearts of all by his own sweetness. Nityananda doya mori tare de kaila Shri Radha Madana Mohane Prabhu Kare Dila. The mercy of Lord Nityananda showed me Shri Madan Mohan and gave me Shri Madan Mohan as my Lord and Master. Moadame Dila Shri Govinda Darshana Kahi Barakata Nahe Akatya Katana. He granted to one as low as me the sight of Lord Govinda. Words cannot describe this, nor is it fit to be disclosed. Vrindavane Yogapite Kalpataruvane Ratna Mandapatahe Ratna Singhasane Shri Govinda Vasya Chena Brajendra Nandana Madhurya Prakashi Karena Jagata Mohana. On an altar made of gems in the principal temple of of Vrindavan, amidst a forest of desire trees, Lord Govinda, the son of the king of Braja, sits upon a throne of gems and manifests his full glory and sweetness, thus enchanting the entire world. On an altar made of gems in the principal temple of Vrindavan, amidst a forest of desire trees, Lord Govinda, the son of the king of Braja, sits upon a throne of gems and manifests his full glory and sweetness, thus enchanting the entire world. Vama parsve Shri Radhika Sakigana Sange Rasadika Lila Prabhukare Katarange. By his left side is Srimati Radharani and her personal friends. With them, Lord Govinda enjoys the Rasa Lila and many other pastimes. Jara Dhyana Nijaloke Kare Padmasana. Excuse me. Astadasa ka dakshara mantre kare upasana. Lord Brahma, sitting on his lotus seat in his own abode, always meditates on him and worships him with the mantra consisting of the 18 syllables. In his own planet, Lord Brahma, with the inhabitants of that planet, worships the form of Lord Govinda, Krishna, by the mantra of 18 syllables, Kling Krishnaya Govindaya Gopi Janabalabhaya Svaha. When he's saying this mantra, which is one of the mantras in the Gayatri mantra, full Gayatri mantra, he's meditating on Lord Govinda. And where's Govinda? In these verses we can remember that. He is seated amidst all of these kalpavriksha trees on a jeweled throne. But these are transcendental jewels. And he's manifesting his full glory and sweetness and enchanting the entire world. And he's meditating like that. Those who are initiated by a bona fide spiritual master and who chant the Gayatri mantra 3 times a day know this Astadasa Kshara 18-syllable mantra. The inhabitants of Brahmaloka and the planets below Brahmaloka worship Lord Govinda by meditating with this mantra. There is no difference between meditating and chanting, but in the present age, meditation is not possible on this planet. The kind of meditation that was performed, for example, in the Satya Yuga. In the Satya Yuga, the meditation, in the case of the Prachetas, was for 10,000 years under the water of the ocean. We don't live long enough to even sit down. Therefore, loud chanting of a mantra, like the Maha Mantra Hare Krishna, with soft chanting of the Astadasa Kshara, the mantra of 18 syllables, is recommended. Lord Brahma lives in the highest planetary system known as Brahmaloka or Satyaloka. In every planet there is a predominating deity. As the predominating deity in Satyaloka, he is Lord Brahma. So in the heavenly planets, Indra is the predominating deity, and on the sun god Vivishvan is the predominating deity. The inhabitants and predominating deities of every planet are all recommended to worship Govinda, either by meditation or chanting. Jaya Saparikashi Shri Guru Gaurachandra Jaya Govardhanju Ki Jai. It's very important to hear these things because just as Krishna says in the Gita, that you should see time in terms of the time of Brahma. So in the same way, we should see the universe and the mantras that we're chanting, and how these are being chanted all over the universe in the upper planetary systems by those who have some kind of knowledge about the Lord. Everyone is worshiping the Lord. The paltry little enjoyments that are pulling our little brains on this planet, they're nothing compared to the opulences available and the enjoyment available in heaven. But even the predominating deities of all these heavenly planes are all worshiping Govinda. This is a fact. They have all of the opulences and everything, they all belong to the Lord. But they look like so much illusion by comparison to the opulences of Vaikuntha. And what to speak of Vrindavan, where the Chintamani gems contain millions of Vaikunthas, each one of them. The dust is made of Chintamani, and each of those Chintamani gems contains so many Vaikuntha planets. And the Braja Gopis are wearing those gems as decorations around their ankles of their lotus feet. So if we can remember these things, we won't become too much distracted, although some habit is there, no doubt, and that will come to knock on our door, no doubt about it, because that is habit. But these remembrances will give us great strength above all those things, really so much strength. And not mental strength. This is the power of divine sound, because divine sound is full of actual fact, actual knowledge, reality. And that reality will come and protect us consciously. Jai. So we can stop here. Text 222.
Didi,
Yeah.
may I ask you two questions?
Yeah.
One is related to heavenly planets, and the other one is related to the story you were sharing of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So I'm going to start with the one of the heavenly planets.
Okay.
A follower of the Sri Rupanuga line.
What was that?
A follower of the Rupanuga line
Mm-hmm.
may end up in heaven temporarily.
Not usually, but it's possible. It's possible because Srila Prabhupada, when our godbrother Jayananda passed away, he had cancer, leukemia, and he was living in the temple compound in Los Angeles when we were there. And he built the Rath Yatra carts. And Prabhupada was very, very fond of him. Can you imagine? He built the replica of the Rath Yatra carts, and that were the first Rath Yatras in the West was in San Francisco. Anyway, he designed them, built them, and he was a very sweet person. But he passed away of leukemia. We were there, and they said, "Oh, how are you? He said, "Oh, I'm going." He said, "And when I'm gone, you take this thing and just throw it in the dumpster." He's talking about his body. So just throw it in the dumpster. Anyway, he was really lovely. But I remember that day very, very well. But Srila Prabhupada said, when they called him and told him, I don't remember where Prabhupada was at that time, but he wrote and said, he sent the message that he will go to to the spiritual world. Or he will stop for a little while in the heavenly planets and then go to the spiritual world. But generally speaking, I mean, I don't know, it depends, like we want some seva. So maybe some seva will come there, or maybe something. We don't know, but it's possible.
Is it possible that in the heavenly planets there's service to Gauranga Mahaprabhu and the Vaishnavas, or is it possible that in the heavenly planets there is Krishna Katha and Seva?
It depends on who it is, because someone may be a Vaishnava and a follower of Mahaprabhu, but generally speaking, the reason that the Lord comes so much to the earth planet is because, as we've talked about this before, that in the human consciousness, if it's actually come to human consciousness, there is the widest possibilities of free choice. Because in the heavenly planets, there's just too much enjoyment. I mean, here at least we get slapped around a little bit when we go for enjoyment. You get a little, and not too much that we can't think about anything else, generally. In the hellish planets, there's just too much suffering, too much punishment going on. It's just like that. If you ever read the 5th canto of the Bhagavatam, there's a full description of hell. It's very heavy. You know, this really nasty, horrible, sinful persons who simply perpetuate the suffering of others. I mean, what it's going to take to bring some humility to that person. It's not just cruelty, it's trying to bring that someone gone so far back to center. I can't actually see you, the phone is right in front of your face. So, and in the heavenly planets, generally, the sacrifices are going on to Vishnu. Because everyone knows the only source of the power of the demigods is coming from Vishnu. They know that perfectly well. They're always worshiping him. But my point is that it is not as easy to pursue spiritual life there. I mean, I'm just giving you a general. But when Mahaprabhu is chanting in the courtyard of Lord Jagannath, it is said to be filling the whole universe with that divine vibration. So, can the demigods not also participate in that great purification? I mean, to what extent and all that, I don't know those details, and maybe we will read that later somewhere, more detail about that. But there's, the demigods were said to have been glorifying Sachi Devi, and they also came to glorify Mother Devaki when Krishna was in the womb. And many, many demigods came to visit Sachi Devi after the birth of Mahaprabhu. They came in the form of human Brahmin families to glorify the child, because they know Swayam Bhagavan Krishna has appeared in this form. So they were saying prayers, and those prayers are recorded, what they said and how they prayed to Sachi Devi. So all those things are there. But this is the best opportunity. It really is. I mean, we get distracted by a little fun in this planet, which is there's a lot of suffering mixed with things here. But there it's a lot more enjoyment. It's hard to even imagine it. But the devotees will never aspire to go to Vaikuntha, what to speak of the heavenly planets. But if there's some service to be done there, then of course, you can go there. If that's where the Lord sends us after our birth. But we're only praying for service. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Svarga Niroya, like Svargavada Niroya. Anyway, he's saying in heaven or hell, whatever you want, let me serve you. My only need and love, my only joy, my only necessity is that I will have an opportunity to serve you.
Thank you, Didi. And then the other one, very brief question about Kali. When Srila Prabhupada wanted to go to Calcutta, and he was advised of Kali, and he said that he was going to be okay. My question is Kali Maya Shakti?
Well, Kali is the personification of this age. One of the forms of Maya Devi or Durga Devi is Kali. And she has her form, very, very scary form of Durga Devi. But this is a different person. This is Kali. And I remember very clearly when Prabhupada, told us, oh no, that is not Kali, that is Kali. And for our ears, that was exactly the same word. But these are two different personalities. The personification of the age of Kali is that personality. Very inauspicious. And as we told the other day, King Parikshit found him cutting off or breaking the legs of a bull. And the bull represents Dharma, religiosity. The four legs of the bull represent Dharma, truthfulness, cleanliness, truthfulness, mercy, and austerity. Those are the four legs of Dharma. And he's breaking those. And in Kali Yuga, you see that they are broken. So King Pariksha is going to kill him immediately for killing or for harming a bull. And the bull's crying. Harming a bull or a cow in previous ages, just that's the same as killing a child, an innocent child. So he's just raised that's his job, he's the king, to destroy any kind of irreligious inauspiciousness in the country. So he raised his sword. But then Kali went to his knees and said, I'm asking for your shelter. So the king has to give shelter. And he said, okay, you can live in a place where gold is being accumulated and where, I forget the other one. But anyway, so Kali has, there are certain types of places where Kali has very strong influence. But in the Bhagavatam, it is given that those four pillars of religion are destroyed by four different kinds of activities. And those activities are meat eating, illicit sexual connection between men and women, gambling, and intoxication. That's where Kali lives there. And those destroy the principles of Dharma, which are austerity, cleanliness, truthfulness, and mercy. And it's interesting. There's a passage that describes that mercy is destroyed by intoxication. And it is so, intoxication is so degrading that it takes away any feeling for anything besides oneself. And a person who is addicted will do anything to get that thing. So they all interact in that way. Illicit sexual connection destroys the quality of cleanliness, inner cleanliness. The whole concept, the whole feeling of purity is destroyed by that. One cannot understand what is pure and what is not pure. That instinct or that perception is destroyed. And then austerity is, truthfulness is destroyed by speculation, and austerity is destroyed by meat eating. Something like that. I think it's in a purport in one of the shlokas of the Srimad Bhagavatam. So anyhow, why were we talking about that? I forget.
Oh, because he asked you the question, if Kali is the same as
about
Maya.
Kali, right.
Now there's Maya Devi, there is Kali, there's Kali.
Well, she is Kali. Maya Devi's one of her names is Kali.
Kali. But she's not Kali.
No, Kali is a male figure.
A male figure.
Yeah.
Oh, is Kali the one that comes at the end of Kali Yuga, or is different?
That's Kalki.
That's called.
That's an incarnation of the Lord. A very different person.
So, but they are all devotees of Lord Sri Krishna.
Who?
Are they? Kali.
Kali? No, he has a job. He has his job, but I've never heard him described as a devotee of Krishna. But Kali, she's doing a particular job. She's doing a very particular job. The Lord needs, the Lord, He has given us free will, and therefore, if we choose to think something which is completely not true, then we must be put under the spell of illusion to believe it. If we want to believe something which isn't true, the Lord has to arrange for that. Something that's so clearly not true, but we cannot stop believing it. We know that the body is going to be gone and we're not even going to remember it in our next life. But when we look in the mirror, we think, oh, there I am. It's amazing.
Is she the one that wears skulls as garments?
Yes, in her form like that, yeah. She has many forms, Durga Devi. She is the mistress of the citadel. Citadel means prison. She's the mistress of the prison. And those who worship her, she's not fond of them. They worship her for gross things. And, wears their skulls around her neck. So Srila Gurudev told, he was sent out preaching. When he lived with Srila Prabhupada in Calcutta, he had to go there for some time. He was living with Prabhupada in his household. And Prabhupada would say, you go out. They would discuss Gita, Bhagavatam, and everything. And then Gurudev was quite young at that time. And Prabhupada had said, go out and talk to people about this. But he would meet a lot of Kali worshippers, And he would argue with them, but they would get really angry and sometimes chase him down the road with the sticks. And he would come back to Srila Prabhupada. He said, I can't say anything to them. They're so violent. They can't hear anything. They just love Kali. They want to worship her. They ask her for money. Give me this. Kali, give me money, give me fame, make me pass my exams. Or, they're all asking her for all this junk, And they don't like to hear that that is not the best thing. So Prabhupada told him, you tell him, they will worship Kali, and when they die, she will come to them like naked, like a witch, and she will cut their heads off and drink their blood, and then wear their skulls around, wear her sons' skulls around her neck like a garland. But you go to Krishna, and you will sit with Krishna in the forest and eat rasgula and run around and play with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. I mean, we see it all the time on this planet, what to speak of the lower planets. Very heavy, very dark. The results of materialistic happiness. There's two things, Shreya and Preya. And one is I just want the immediate result. I want what I want. And not thinking in the long run, down the road, what's going to happen. And then there's, I will perform some austerity now, and down the road, such a high prospect is waiting. Such a high prospect, such a pure, beautiful, divine thing, where my heart will wake up, and I'll finally live in a home of my heart. But now maybe some difficulty. So these two things are very important. I think we just read about this, maybe. And I'm pretty sure that Srila Saraswati Thakur was mentioning these things in this talk here. But anyways, so we the Vaishnava practitioners are accepting some little difficulty, not very much. We're not like up in the snowbanks in the Himalayas naked for 50 years, we're not doing anything. We're very happily situated with the best company and going on in a very happy way with Mahaprasadam and chanting and everything wonderful. But little austerity for such a prospect, eternal prospect. But those who are foolish are thinking, I'm going to lie and cheat and steal and I'll get what I want right now. And then down the road, such a reaction. It's a reaction. We're going to have to accept that bill. It's going to come in the mail and we have to pay it. And there's no avoiding that. We will not be able to avoid that. It's not like we can hide from material nature. Who will only hide within material nature? But the main thing is that we'll forget the Lord and just go on and on and on and on and on. Even religiosity looks very bad to the Vaishnava, because religiosity is very much for piety a meaning a better life, a better material life in the heavenly planet. Even that looks very dark to the Vaishnava. Even looks dark to Brahma. The creator of this universe does not want to live here. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Didi.
All right. Oh, now it's 9:00. Jaya. Anything from the kitchen? All right. Jai Shri Upadesamrita. Anyway, we will bow down to Shri Upadesamrita. Jai Srila Rupa Goswami ki Jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai, Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Darev Goswami Maharaj ki Jaya. Anyway, we're going to continue to the end of the book, and then perhaps we'll go back and read. I wanted to consistently read the commentaries of Srila Guru Maharaj, and now we can also go back and read some of the commentaries by Srila Saraswati Thakur and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Hari Bol.
Didi, is it okay to continue in this path, following the instructions of our Guru Varga, with the desire of being happy? Like, sometimes I think if I become recipient of their mercy, I might one day see reality as it is and reciprocate.
Gradually, it's a gradual process.
Is it okay to have that desire? Like, for example, I think I'm gonna laugh a lot. I'm gonna have a lot of fun. I'm gonna be happy. Is that a good motivation?
Of course. You can't give up the desire for happiness. That is the real need of the soul. We want happiness. And by hearing, we can understand what happiness is more and more. Because now we're duped. We're fooled, we're cheated. We look for a happiness that is actually miserable. You know? But we cannot give that up instantly. It is very gradual. But certain things we must give up, because those things will take you down the river and make you in a mess that's really hard to get out of. And those are very, very difficult things to, once we put your toe in that fast-moving river, then you get swept away. And those 4 things we were just discussing. But other things can be utilized, like household life, can be utilized definitely in the Lord's service. Many of Mahaprabhu's followers were householders. That's perfectly well. And many things are, relatively speaking, innocent. But at the same time, we have to pursue our spiritual practices, because, and especially in the mood of surrender, even in household life or anything we're doing, because then we can gradually leave some of the lower things naturally. It is a natural thing. If you're getting a taste of very lovely Mahaprasadam, then it's easy to give up some junk food, junky, garbage, or inauspicious food. If one is honoring prasadam, he's not going to want to eat garlic and junky things that they cannot be offered to the Lord. He will naturally not want to do that. If he's properly honoring, he will get a taste. Not only a taste in his tongue, a taste in his heart, a taste in his mind. So sometimes we're accepting some degree of ordinary happiness that we're used to, as long as it can be innocent and offered to the Lord. Like, go play basketball for an hour or something, get some strength in your body, some sun, it's wholesome. It's not a bad thing. Going for walks and hanging out with friends, taking Mahaprasadam, many things, they're not so harmful. But if we give up our connection with divinity, those things will gradually become mixed in with something worse. Do you follow? So both of those things together. And we want happiness. That's why, of course we want happiness. But we are learning from the great Vaishnavas, great personalities, what happiness really is, and never letting go of those ideals while we're going on with our life. Not to become foolish. It's very easy to go down in the Kali Yuga. Very easy. Hari Hari Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshaya Namaha Gopal Govinda Ram Srimati Sudan Giridhari Gopinath Naranamo Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra Karada Shivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Das Raghuna Hey Jai Gosai Gauri Charananda Jai Vignana Shavistapura Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Nitai Gaur Hari Hari Jai Srila Shri Guru Gaurachandra Ju Jai Giriraju Ki Jai Jai Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajakacarya Statara Sati Shri Srimati Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Vishnupad Paramhamsa Parivrajakacarya Astatara Sati Shri Srimati Srila Bhakti Rakak Shri Dardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai Sannyasi Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Haribol Sapashad Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai Sapashad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Ki Jai Kol Kartal Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai
Haribo Jai Srimati Lekha Didi Ki Jai
Jai
and greetings to Q, to Katerina Salenko Kalyani Didi.
Huh?
Katerina Salenko Kalyani Didi.
Oh.
She's saying Dandavat. And Bhima Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat.